Dandava Pranam Maharaj, Haribol. Good to see you.
Didi, Anaditya Didi, Vyatava Didi, Priyadarshini Didi. I Dandava to you.
Dandava Maharaj, Dandava devotees.
And Devahuti ki jai, Haribol.
Jai, Haribol.
All the devotees
Lawrence, Dr. Lawrence.
Haribol, Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Let us chant Vandana.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Sri Guru, Sri Yuta Pada Kamalam, Sri Guru Vaishnava, Sri Rupa, Sagachata, Sagana, Amsa, Sadhu-Sanga,
Paritam, Krishna Chaitanya Deva, Srila, Krishna Balaram, Sahajananda, Krishna Vitamsha,
Om
Magnatya Vimantasya, Narayana Sadakaya, Chakshu Vidanyena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Puja
Shri Guru Vargavandita,
Mahababa Vishaya Sada
Purvaya Parampara, Prashalita Praya Brahmate, Bhakti Nirmala Nirasha,
Nirvitram Saraswat.
Vande Shri Gurudeva Manata, Sri Acharya Vadyamniya,
Orvabhishta Sapurakam Guru Ganar Shrisha Sambhushitam Chintya
Chintia Chintia Samasta Vedani Punam, Silupa Pantanubam, Govinda Vidam Vipanam, Vadyam Vitam Sudara, Bhakti Shabhidya, Bhagavat Premo Hiriya Prada,
Devam Divyat
Devam Diyatan Suchanda Vadana, Varakasila Sita, Sakranta Puram Salika, Padmapaidam Yavidya Puri,
Sri
Sri
Sridhara
Siddhamdamini Shubhaktila Sita, Sarasvatana, Vandana Malika, Sanam Yashishvaram Sripad,
Sri Siddhanta
Siddhanta Saraswati. Vidito Vijapura. Atunaripa. Krishna Prema Sukam Prabhutam Bhaje Namo Krishna
Bhaka
Utamurta
Gaurangri
Gaurangri
Adabha
Nisri
Vande Bhakti
Bhakti Vinodam Sri Pura Shakti Swarupa
Bhakti Shastri
Sastranya Sarvya
Adarasa
Adasa Sudamiri
Oram
Shri
Vaishnavar Jagannatha Prabhu
Prabhuvante Premami Virga Vistava
Vanshaka
Kalpataruyasha Sripad Sindhujane Vacha Kitana Pavaneyo Vaishnaveyo
Vanshatattva Nakam Krishna
Bhaktarupa Sarupaka Bhaktavataram Bhaktatyam Namami Bhaktasaktika
Namo
Namo Maharaja Krishna Prema Pradaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Name Gaura Tuina
Jayatam
Goti Masarva Boyao Ragamadana Mohana Divya Prindaya Kalpadumada Sriman Sirganda Siravinda Prestalivi Senyamana Osmarani
Iman Rasa
Sambi Pasivata Tata Stita Karsam Venus Gopir Gopina Yetuna Tulat Jai Jai Keshava Jai Krishna Bhakti Devi Guru Guru Toyaya Muri
Jaya Savarikara Sisi Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Swaparma Yasu Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Vivasadi Gaurava Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Evil, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya, Srila Santa Maharaja, Ki Jai,
Jai
Giri Govardhana, Ki Jai,
Jai
Samaveda Bhaktivinoda, Ki Jai,
Jai
all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Go Premanandi,
Haribo
Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaja Ki Jai.
Jai
Hare Krishna, Jai,
Hare
Jai, Bhakti Rasa, Ki Jai, Haribo.
Jai
And who else did I miss? Anyone? Rajya, did I say Hare Krishna to you? Who is Sri?
We don't know.
Oh, Sri.
Shri's
Okay.
iPhone.
Sri iPhone. Thank you for joining us. Today, we will read from Prapanna-jivanamrtam to the Bhakti Yoga Dev-Goswami. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Dev-Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Maharaja Madhava Acharya Satavasat Sripad Bhakti Bhakti Rakshak Dev-Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Prapanna-jivanamrtam Ki
Jai.
Then we're in chapter 2. Text. You have the page. Text 26. Hari Prapananam Anya Nistara Smartyam Atmaramaman Atmaramanam Api Hari Pada Pratischa Yapada Samshraya Sutta Unaya Prasamayana Sadhya Punantya Pasprasta or Dunyapo Nu Sevaya in the Bhagavatam. First canto, first chapter, 15. Panam is here. Prapanna-jivanamrtam, Hari Prapanna. Souls surrendered unto the lotus feet of Lord Hari are competent to deliver others, and the fully self-satisfied souls also surrender to the Lord's lotus feet. The slightest association with the supremely tranquil sages who have surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord, purifies the people of the world. If the river Ganges purifies only those who bathe in it, it said that going to the holy places, they're called tirthas. The holy places are tirthas. Is not so important as meeting the devotees that live there. The holy places are tirthas only because the devotees that live there are purifying the land, purifying that place. Many, many sinful persons go to the holy places and they leave their sins there. But the devotee, he can purify the sins of even the most fallen souls just by a moment of association, by a moment of association, because they are non-different from the Supreme Lord. They are the representatives of Krishna. It is Krishna appearing in this material world. The surrendered soul is actually Krishna enters the body, enters the presence of the surrendered soul and preaches his message to us. And therefore there is potency there. I was thinking yesterday, reading something, and someone asked the question, God is all powerful, right? But can God make a rock so heavy that he can't lift it? If God is so powerful, but then he can't make a rock that he can't lift, because then his power is checked. He'd be restricted. Huh? And if God is restricted, how is he God? There is something that's restricting God. How can that be God? God is omnipotent, right? We hear, that omnipotent means all powerful. And omniscient means all knowing. Omnipotent, omniscient, all these words are given to God. But if that is God, if God is omnipotent, then he's restricted. If he's omniscient, then he's restricted. He can never not know something. He can never not do something. There's a restriction on God. Therefore, God, and to be God, to be fully, truly infinite, must be able to cross beyond his own restrictions. That is called incarnation. That God becomes man. In Christianity, we have that idea also. God becomes man. He takes on the suffering of a man. In our Vaishnava conception also, Krishna takes upon himself all the labors, all the suffering of an ordinary human being. That is God. God is infinite in that he can do anything. He can even become not God. That is man. Otherwise, if we put a restriction on God, then it's not God. And not the proper conception. Cannot be the proper conception. God is without restriction. That is God. And if that's the case, then there's nothing he cannot do. So when we say, Acharya mam vijaniyat, that is Krishna. Acharya mam, Krishna is saying, I am the Acharya. Know that. I am the Acharya. Krishna comes in a finite form, the form of a person, man, to instruct us about himself. That is the true infinite. If that conception is missing, And then we have only a partial conception of God. Now, some religions, they don't allow that God can go beyond restrictions. His omnipotence, his all powerfulness, his all knowingness. They can't tolerate, in their conception, they can't tolerate that God would be able to suffer, go beyond his own omnipotent position. Then there's not a complete conception of the infinite. A very important idea. Something that Hegel also makes very powerfully clear in his philosophy, what he calls the true infinite. The true infinite can never be restricted to only one thing, only infinite and not finite. The true infinite must contain the finite within itself also. Must allow the true infinite must be allowed to become finite. And yet not finite at the same time. God doesn't become man and loses Godhood. That's another thing. But a very, very nice thing to think about. How, in order to be God, he must become man. A very important part of our lifestyle. The slightest association with a devotee is not like association with just any other person. It's someone who has realized the real nature of the infinite, and is participating in that nature, in that knowledge. Tattva darshana. Either must the infinite or the God, Krishna, be considered merely infinite, without also being understood as finite. Nor must the finite be understood only as finite and having no connection with you. Even a finite part of the infinite is infinite. Cantor, there's one mathematician, George Cantor. He said that there were different conceptions of the infinite. A very unusual mathematician. Most mathematicians, they think they don't even consider the infinite to be a real number. What kind of number is infinite? You divide 1 by 0, you get infinite. What kind of number is that? They don't know. I didn't actually go into that. What to speak of going into the details of what is that infinite? That was Cantor's contribution to mathematics. He showed that there are many types of infinities. A line has an infinite number of points in it. What about a line that's half of that, half a line? That also has an infinite number of points. So infinite and half an infinite, they're both infinite. Anyhow, he made some kind of inquiry into the infinite that way. So how to understand the infinite can become finite and without losing its godly nature also. And this is the devotee. This is how we understand this properly, to understand a devotee's nature. We shouldn't approach a devotee as completely different, but having some very intimate connection, intimate identity. Prabhupada used to say, when the ambassador goes to a country foreign country. They accept an ambassador, when an ambassador of the United States, for instance, goes to another country. They accept that ambassador as representing the whole country. They don't treat him as just another person, another tourist. They see him as the representative of that country of which he is the ambassador. Something like that. That is devotee. There's also the incarnation of the avatar of Krishna. That is to be seen as Krishna, but in a limited form. Intentionally limited form, we could say. Must allow that possibility in the infinite. Otherwise, we cannot really call an infinite proper true. Okay. Dr. Sahu, you are here.
Pranam Dandavat Maharaj.
Oh, hi, Doctor. So nice to see you. Oh, it's great.
After so many,
I know, such a time we have not seen you. I'm glad to see you are happy.
nice to see you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I'm happy because I'm here.
Okay.
But yes, I missed you a lot, but there was some kind of situation where I was not able to join.
It
So
happens. It happens. I know. We are not in control completely of this world. That's Krishna's will, huh? Dhanyavad, Srila Bhakti Niskam Santa Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Maharaj.
Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad.
So, all right, we're reading now text 27 from Prapanna-jivanamrtam. Sri Krishna Naiva, huh? Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad.
जय विष्णु श्रील भक्ति माधव पुरी महाराज की जय धन्यवाद
Jai.
All right,
Dhanyavad Pranam Maharaj.
Dhanyavad.
धन्यवाद
Maharaj, we are reading from Prapanna-jivanamrtam. Is that okay?
ओके धन्यवाद महाराज
Okay. Sri Krishnaika Sharananaiva Vini Kinkaraha Devarshi Bhutapta Nirnam Pitranam Kinkaro Nayam Nri Charajan Savatmanayak Saranam Karanyam Gato Mukandam Parihitya Kartam. From the Bhagavatam 11th canto, 5th chapter, 41st. Those souls who have exclusively surrendered unto Krishna are not subservient to scriptural injunctions and prohibitions. O king, one who abandons all worldly obligations and wholeheartedly surrenders unto Mukunda, the exclusive shelter of all beings in every respect, such a person is no longer indebted to the demigods, sages, other life forms, friends and relatives, mankind, and ancestors. This verse is found in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Powerful, very powerful verse. And no longer subservient to the scriptures, to the rules and regulations. This is surrendered soul. Goes above all of that. What are the scriptures? Shastra. What is that? Shastra is the word of God. But what are they intended for? The Shastra is intended for the public, for all of mankind, to lead them in the proper direction. Then, what is the proper direction? Krishna says, Vedaischa sarvam aham eva veda. Vedanta krid vedavid eva chaham. Means the one, the scriptures are the revelation, the word of God. Krishna says, I am God and I wrote them. They are therefore my words. I wrote them through Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is my incarnation. It's called the literary incarnation of God. And then what are all those Vedas for? Then you are beyond them? Yes, he said, you are beyond them because I am beyond them. And if you come to me, you are beyond them also. You're beyond all those writings. My position is that. And your position when you are surrendered to me is also above all other things. Sarva dharmam parityag. Mam ekam sharanam. You are not subordinate to those things if you are subordinate to me. They are meant to bring you into subservience to me. Arjuna, in the scriptures, it says you should not kill another human being, or Brahmins, or anyone else. And yet Arjuna was asked to kill all of these. And Arjuna was conflicted. You mean I have to go against all of our teachings, all of our dharma? And Krishna said, Sarva dharma, oh yes, give up all these dharma and surrender to me. This is the purpose of the Shastra. Shastras are meant for the people of the world. But you are not of this world. You are more than this world. The world has no power to act on its own. The living entity is what is moving this. The moving looks jagat. The moving looks alive. The world is moving as if it were alive, but it's not the life. The world is not of the life. The life is something else, and the world is the shadow of that, the reflection of that. Just like when you walk, and the shadow is following you. If you're only looking at the shadow, you think the shadow is walking, but the shadow doesn't walk. Shadow walks only because the person who is casting the shadow is walking. In the same way, this world is like the shadow. And the living entity is the spark that is moving, that is alive. So the Shastra and everything that governs this world does not have a domain, does not extend to the domain of the spiritual world. So high, so far above that, so transcendental to all of that. So those who have exclusive surrender to Krishna are not subservient to scriptural injunctions and prohibitions. Another example is given of the servant. The servant is not supposed to enter the palace, the hall where the king is seated. When the king is seated in the palace, the servants are not allowed to enter that palace room. But if some dacoit comes to attack the king, and the servant thinks, oh, I cannot go into the room, then he is criminal. If the servant goes into the room and tries to stop the dacoit, then he's considered a hero. But he has to do that in order to violate. But if he does that, he has to violate the rule that the servant is not to enter. So sometimes it's necessary to violate certain injunctions for the higher purpose and not unheard of. The king, who is in the royalty, the what do they call it? The children of the king. Sometimes they marry persons who are not part of the royal family. We've seen that many times actually in England. But that is out of love. They come to the lower section of society and take them into their lives. And they become the princess and the queen. It happens. Love can conquer over all these so-called injunctions. Because the highest thing is not to follow an injunction, duty. It's very nice if you do your duties. That is not the highest thing. The highest thing is your love, to have love for Krishna. Krishna doesn't want you to worship him because he's God. In fact, he doesn't like that. Krishna doesn't like to be worshipped as God. That's for Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means you worship Krishna, Narayan, as God in his magnificence, his opulence. That's called Aishwarya. Aishwarya. Worshipping God is magnificence as God. Krishna doesn't like that. He likes those who come to him and who challenge him. His friends who come and fight with him. Oh, Krishna, you think you're such a big person? I can defeat them. And Krishna likes to fight with his cowherd friends. And he likes it when they are victorious. The victor has to climb on their shoulders of the person who has been defeated. And so Krishna's friends climb on Krishna's shoulders. And they say, I am greater than Krishna. I beat Krishna. And Krishna is very happy to have that. In the Sakya Ras, there are two types of friends. Sakya, that means friendship. In the rasa of friendship, there are two types. There's the ones who are subordinate to Krishna, the friends, and the friends who are consider themselves superior to Krishna. Of course, this is all in the mood of love, loving exchanges, not in a kind of competitive or egoistic. Of these two, the ones who challenge Krishna, who are ready to treat him as just another ordinary friend, he likes them most. There he can have the most intimate relationship. He doesn't have to put on any airs, as they say. Krishna is very hard to understand if we don't recognize that the infinite, to be truly infinite, must be able to have restrictions also, must be able to become finite, must be able to become imperfect, must be able to suffer, all these things. Otherwise, how is he infinite? We restrict. So the monists, the abstract monists, the Advaitins, they say God is one. That's it. No other thing is possible. No, that cannot be also. It cannot be. How is God? It can only be one. What about the many? Can God be one and many at the same time and still be God? Yes, the Vaishnavas say yes. What is that verse? Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam. In the scripture we find Nityo nityanam means the singular eternal and the plural eternal. The singular eternal is Narayan and the plural eternals are the jivas. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam. The knower and the plural knowers. The singular conscious being and the plural conscious beings. Hegel said, the I that is we. The I that is we. When you say I and you say we, sometimes you can use them interchangeably. We are going to the store. We are going to the beach. You're included in that. Just like saying I am going to the store. Not really that big a difference. One is singular, one is plural. That's all. But the same I is indicated. Although they're very different, one is plural, one is singular, still they can both refer to the same thing. You can use them in the same way. One of the big things that Krishna presents in lifting Govardhan Hill one of the main teachings that Krishna gave when he was a very little child was that you are not indebted to the demigods. He told them, the Rajavasis, the residents of Vrindavan, you are not indebted to the demigods. The Rajavasis were very concerned that they must offer the proper propitiations to the demigods so they could get rain and food and so many things for their livelihood. But Krishna wanted to teach them that that is not your main concern, or not to be your main concern. That you offer everything to me. He told them. They're looking at it. Of course, they understood Krishna was not an ordinary child. He had done so many extraordinary events in Vrindavan. If we read the 10th canto, we can see. So they were very curious when Krishna said, don't worry about the demigods, just worry about serving me. And not only serving him, but serving him in the form of Govardhan Hill. He said, you just have to offer sacrifices, food, everything to this hill. I am this hill. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, everything is coming from me. So this hill is also me. You offer everything to me, this hill. And you have already propitiated all the demigods. And they were afraid, but then they said, okay, Krishna, we have faith in you. We have faith in you. And they all offered their, whatever they would offer to the demigods, instead they offered to the Govardhan Hill. And the Govardhan Hill ate all the prasadam that they offered. And then demigod Indra, you know the story, he became very angry. Why you are not offering to me? Who is this child that you are trying to appease in violation of my own orders, my own worship? Became very angry at them and sent thunderstorms and whatnot. And they all again, the Rajavasis became afraid. And Krishna told, don't worry. And he picked up the hill like a big umbrella, and they all came under the hill. And finally, Indra recognized, what kind of thing is this? I am doing so much to hurt them. And they are all happily chanting Hare Krishna under the hill. Then he realized, oh, this is not an ordinary person. How can a boy lift a hill like that? A mountain. Not a boy. This is the Supreme Person. And then he recognized, yes, he is not the Supreme, but there is a Supreme. And he must offer his obeisances, the dandavats, to that Supreme. And that way, everyone, even Indra, began to understand what is going on. So Krishna taught that at a very young age, and while he was in Vrindavan. And then when he went to Kurukshetra, again he taught the same thing. Sarvadharmam parityaja, he taught that in the Bible. Sarvadharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam. Taught the same thing. All your dharma, all your religious principles, they are to be left aside, and you are to come to me only. So throughout his life, taught this principle, very highest principle. That is Krishna's message to us, and that is what this book is about. This book is telling us, concentrate, focus your attention on me. You have no other ambition, other effort to make. Your effort to me, to achieve me, to surrender to me, to come and connect with me, to love me. So boldly, unashamedly, Krishna is telling Arjuna in this Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhava bhava. Fix your mind upon me, love me, come to me, serve me. I am the enjoyer. Bhaktaram yogya tapasa. I am the enjoyer of everything. Uncompromisingly, Krishna is telling Arjuna. Clearly, who reads Bhagavad Gita with the proper conception? Prabhupada used to say, as it is, as Krishna is presenting himself, and not getting into some wild imagination about that. Oh, Krishna doesn't mean that, he means this or that, the other thing. If you take Krishna literally, what he's saying, this is what he's telling. You must come to me. You must serve me. You must love me. Then you will get all that you are desiring. Your fulfillment in life will come. Because you are then what you are. Who you are, you'll be what you are, and who you are will be the same. As an eternal servant of Krishna. There will be no more dissatisfaction. Unfulfilled. And text 28. Tadanuvita Veda Dharmatita Eva Yada Yasyan Nu Vinati Bhagavan Atma Bhavita Sajahati Atin Loke Vade Vede Cha Parinishtitam. Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 29th chapter, 45th. The recipients of the Lord's mercy are transcendental to Vedic religiosity. Because of the intense love of his surrendered soul, the Supreme Lord bestows his grace upon that devotee by ushering divine inspiration into his heart. Such a devotee then abandons the preoccupation with adhering to worldly obligations of Vedic religiosity. These are not the actions of an irresponsible person. It is not that we are to become irresponsible. Oh, I don't care for this or that or the other thing. That is not Krishna's devotee. That is not, devotee does not become an anarchist. Disobey all authority. Or not care for any of them. This is the symptom of the one who is surrendered to Krishna. Krishna inspires within his heart how to abandon all other endeavors except the service and love, submission to himself. As expressed in the scriptures, as understood by the great teachers throughout time, from Brahma down to the present, and before Brahma. The Chatur Shloki of the Bhagavatam, the 4 central verses of the Sripad Bhagavatam. In one verse it says, Rite Ritam Yat Pratiyatam Yat Pratiyatam Chatmani. That means before anything existed, I was there. This is saying. Before there was anything, I existed. And after everything vanishes, I will still remain. Whatever appears to be real, to have substantial existence, he said, knows that to be my illusory book. And he mentions this in the first shloka of the Sripad Bhagavatam, after the end of the page. What is that? Janmadasya Tonvayat Itartas charteshu abhigyasvarat. Tede Brahma Ridyadi Kavaye Matsuryaya. What is that? Tede Brahma Ridyadi Kavaye Matsuryaya. Teno Varibidam Yata Vinimayo Yata Tri Sargo Misha. I can't remember entirely the whole thing. But basically he's saying that whatever appears to be real, everything's coming from me, and whatever appears to be real independent of me, that is not real. That is an illusion, a reflection in the water. It seems to have its own reality. But because it's independent of me, it's not real. It doesn't have any significance. So everyone in this world is thinking that this world is the real, and that Krishna is not some kind of imaginary figure. Because we don't see Krishna like we see, the stone or the house or the tree. You see the stone or house or a tree, but you don't see Krishna. So you think that everything in this world is without Krishna. It's independent. But Krishna says that's Maya. That is Maya. It is not that things exist without me and that they are real without me. So that is not the real identity, those things. You say, well, what do you mean? I can, if I kill a chicken or whatever, if I pull up the potato and I cook that and eat it, that's real. No, that's how I eat. That's how I survive. Krishna's saying no. One time I was with Srila Prabhupada, and I was very inquiring. I was talking about something about matter. And I said, Prabhupada, you mean the water that we drink, that's not water? And immediately he said to me, no, that you do not know. But this water that we're drinking, that's not water. No. What the heck did he mean? So to understand these things more deeply, it's more than just perception is required. If we study philosophy deeply, we will understand what these things mean. Hegel said the finite is not real. Philosophy means to understand that the finite is not real. Now, this requires understanding more than just what you are seeing. It requires diving deep into the reality of things to understand how that's the fact. And then by logic and reasoning, you can see that what they are saying is correct. And a proper appreciation, a proper conception is more than based on simply sense perception. Sense perception is the superficial acquisition of knowledge, the superficial kind of consciousness. But this is only known to the deeper thinkers. And we have to accept, if Krishna says that that is illusion, then we have to accept that is the case and try to live our life under the proper conception. If he says everything in connection with me, that is real, and try to see everything in that way. Very interesting.
Maharaj,
Yeah.
can I ask you?
Okay, 1 minute. I just want to say one more thing. So we have to study philosophy. It's very important to study philosophy, to understand these things. Not essential, but it does help us. Yes, what did you want to say? Dr. Sahu?
Maharaj. I just wanted to know Krishna's views regarding the perceptual world, and second thing is that the concept of bliss. How do you understand the concept of bliss? Is there any difference between
Concept of bliss. Oh, the concept of bliss.
bliss?
Bliss.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
How do
very
you-
important. Very, very important. Very important element of reality. One of the most important elements of reality. You can say the highest importance of reality is bliss. Why? What is bliss? Bliss means fulfillment of desire. Fulfillment of desire. That is bliss. When all your desires are met, full, that is bliss. Now, so we look out at the world and we think that we're looking, in a neutral state, that we're just seeing and passively seeing and experiencing the world. But it's not passive. Consciousness itself is a platform of desire. People think, well, we're just aware, conscious of things. But that's not a fact. Consciousness doesn't work like that. Consciousness depends on attention. The psychologists know this. Attention to what you are attending to. So many things are happening in your life, but you're not attentive to all of it. So many things are passing right in front of your nose, but you are not attentive. You will not be conscious of it until you are attentive to it. Sometimes you can be reading a book and so much noise is going on outside and you completely withdraw from all of that. And you're absorbed into the content of the book, the story, while so much noise is going on around you. So in order to be attentive to something, in order to be conscious of something, you have to be attentive to it. And why are you attentive to it? Because you are getting some kind of enjoyment, some kind of pleasure out of that. This is something you want. You're looking for, you're searching for. That is the whole motive behind knowing, behind consciousness, behind everything, is desire. So that is why Krishna is saying, you must desire me if you want me. If you don't want to see God, then don't desire him. You'll never see him. But only if you desire him will you ever be able to see him. He will make himself easily available. Yeyatamam prapanna-jivanamrtam. That is the law that Krishna has given, the promise that Krishna has given to all his devotees. Yeyatamam prapanna-jivanamrtam. As you surrender to me, I will give myself accordingly. As you attend to me, as you seek all your fulfillment in me, then you will understand me, then you will know me. Then you will have the highest bliss. So a very important quality, especially in bhakti. Sat-cit-ananda. Krishna says, I am sat-cit-ananda. I am not only being, I'm not only consciousness, but I am ananda, I am fulfillment. I'm bliss. I am that bliss you are searching for, that joy you are searching for, that is underlying all of your endeavor. I am that. Srila Maharaja wrote one book, Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful. We're looking for that. Rasavai Saha, as mentioned in the scriptures. We're searching, Vedanta says, jigyasa, atato brahma jigyasa, knowledge. But Srila told no, Rasavai Saha. We're actually searching for rasa, for taste, for ananda, ecstasy, beauty, sweetness, charm, love. This is our real search. You won't be satisfied with the other thing.
I think Anand is a very powerful state. It's a kind of highest realization of the transcendental being, and when you have the not a very kind of ordinary thing. It's a kind of, I think, when you have extraordinary power, and that you can realize that state of Anand. That bhakti, what do you say, prapati is the highest bhakti. Because Anand means what? It's not a materialistic pleasure. It's not happiness. And I think when we go beyond that happiness state of materialistic pleasure or prayers, and when you uh, experience that, you may not have anything, but still you are happy. And that state is a state of Anand. It's a kind of I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
it's not a power. Ananda doesn't come from power. Ananda comes from knowledge, and Ananda comes from complete surrender, humility, obedience. If you try to get Ananda, you won't get it. If you try to grab onto it, you won't get it. You'll go far from that. You'll only become near Ananda. You'll only become miserable if you try to search for Ananda. That's not the way. We are Ananda. That is our nature. Amritasya putra. You are sons of nectar. We are all sons of nectar. That is our nature. Our true nature is Amrita, deathlessness, joy, sweetness, love. So if we try for that, that is called material endeavor. That will be the material. That will turn it into something graspable. That won't be Ananda. You have to submit to what you are, to that which you are in eternity. And that it can only be found in the land of sweetness, in the land of Vrindavan, in the land of the Krishna Leela. And until we join in that land, we will not find that Ananda. And the saints, the bhaktas, they teach us how to come to that place. And if we can read about what they're saying and try to apply that in our lives, and gradually we can rise to that place also by their grace, by their mercy. But it has to come from above also. This verse that we're reading now, the intense love of his surrendered soul, his love for his surrendered soul, Srila bestows his grace upon them by the devotee's love, and that the bestowal of grace by the Lord's love for his devotee. Then it becomes possible to enter into those things. There's no shortcut, you could say. If we humbly follow and we have faith that we will get there slowly, day by day. We have to be patient. Trinadapi sanichena, Trinadapi sahishnana. Must be humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. Amanina manadena. Don't expect any honor. And manadena, give honor to others. This is what the Lord told us how to follow practice. Be humble, be tolerant, don't expect honor, and give honor. Then Kirtaniya Sadahari. Then you'll enter into the eternal world of the holy name. And why, Lord? But evil. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Maharaj. Thank you.
Any other questions? Where's Aryanandaji? Oh, there he is. My Dandavat Pranams, Prabhu. Mataji's, everyone. Please be well. I give you all.
Last time I tried to join, but could not because I didn't get the link.
She couldn't join last time.
Oh, no problem. You come when you're able. We're always very happy. Very happy when you can be with us.
Very happy to see you all. And how are you?
Hare Krishna.
How is your health and everything?
All right. Please, my Dandavat Pranams to all of you.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Pranam.
Dandavat Devate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.